welcome back, gamers. Today I'm going to show a deck that's become a personal favorite of mine. My vampire deck was my personal favorite. It was my number one usage deck. It's taken number 2 to this one. I'm going to introduce you guys to those of you who don't know what it is. It's the Eldrazi's. It is a creature type that was introduced in Rise of the Eldrazi back in 2010. And then they were returned in Battle of Zendikar in 2015. And of course, some were reprinted in Modern Masters of 2015 and the dual decks Zendikar versus Eldrazi. The Eldrazi's from the original sets all feature the Annihilator mechanic, and that is a fun one. If you use that, you're not going to get too many happy faces from your opponents. Guarantee it. The different creature types they have drones, processors, scions, and spawns. Your typical card setup. The thing about the Eldrazi's are they're native to the blind eternities. They neither have physical nor color alignment, so they are completely colorless. Most of them. There are some color aligned ones with the red and black and white I've seen, but I don't have them. Okay, so on with the deck. Here's what we have. I have lands. These are the lands. Excuse the holders. The holders are pretty new. I had to find me an Eldrazi holder. I have another set coming. They come in only 80. My deck is an 80 card deck. It might get bigger than that. They all work together. And here we have all the land. The thing about the lands here is the legendary land I have. It is the Eye of Ugin. It colorless Eldrazi spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. So anything Eldrazi is 2 less with this. And of course you have these, which not many people have actually. I don't think many people have actually seen these. They are the wastes, which is the colorless. There's 29 of them in their basic lands, and then 1 legendary land for its effect, of course. The odds of getting it out, 1 in 80. How's that? Because of 80 cards. That's all the lands. Then I have the spells, or in this case, artifacts, because again, there's very few instants and sorceries for this deck. I have the golden egg. I am planning on replacing this with something else, something Eldrazi. It enters the battlefield, you draw a card, you tap 1 in sacrifice, add 1 mana. Tap 2 in sacrifice, you gain 3 life. It's a good way to gain life. I'm going to show the one-off ones first. Then you got Not of This World. I have more than that, more than one of them, but not in here. Not of This World pretty much is a counterspell. Someone hits you with a murder, but if that murder should target a creature that's 7 or greater, it costs 0 to cast. So instead of being 7, it'll be nothing. It'll be instant out of your hand. Here you go. Stop that. Quicksilver Amulet. I was looking at the last video with Battle of Alexian. The Explorers of Alexian, sorry. I found this in that box, and I was looking for it. The amulet, pretty much, you tap 4 lands and tap. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. And I believe it comes in untapped. Until I'm told differently, I believe it comes in untapped. And it's literally any card out of your hand. Any mana cost, doesn't matter, it costs 4. I only have 1 of them, so I can only do it once. Then I have these, Titan's Presence. Titan's Presence is really, really good. It's kind of like another murder card. But only, you get to pick whatever you want to do. As an additional cost to cast Titan's Presence, reveal a colorless creature card from your hand You exile the target creature if its power is less than or equal to the revealed card power. So if you bring out a really heavy hitter, no matter what they got on the field is gone. And it only costs 3 to cast. I got 2 of them in there. Again, I have more of them. When I went to Frontline Games, I bought these in sets of 4, because I know you can have 4 per deck. Except if I believe, well, you can have more. You can have 4 per deck, and use only 1 at a time. But I got these at Frontline Games. The link will be in the description down below. Okay, we got Searing Cauldron. It's another fun one to have. You tap 3 and you sacrifice Searing Cauldron. It deals 3 damage to a target creature. Good. It's really good to get rid of those death touches. It costs 1 to bring out. Let it resolve. Pay 3 and you get rid of pretty much whatever you want. Or you deal 3 damage to them, which is good for another hit. Especially if you have something with menace and they're gonna block you. They need to block with that one creature. Then you have Gruesome Slaughter. It is a sorcery, as well as the Titan's Presence was an instance. There's very few of them in here. Until the end turn, colorless creatures you get tapped. These creatures deal damage equal to the power to a target creature. So again, your opponent has a really, really heavy card out there, and you have a big one, you tap it, you're getting rid of it. I have 2 of those sorceries in there. They're actually really good. This one is probably what makes the Eldrazi deck an Eldrazi deck, other than all the creatures. It's actually a really good card to have. I love it. It is All Is Dust. All Is Dust has a 7 mana cost. It's a really high mana cost in there. I do have 3 of them in here. But with all the abilities and the spells and the planeswalkers and such, especially from Eye of Ugin, where it being 2 less, this card can become really cheap really quick. Each player sacrifices, not destroy, it's sacrifice, all colored permanents they control. So even if they have hexproof and indestructible, they don't survive that because you sacrificed them. Found that out from one of the experts, the judges over at Frontline. Not much gets through that. The only thing that gets through that's a colorless creature or an artifact. Really good to have. Again, you're not going to get any smiles from your opponents when you use such a card on them. There's 3 of them in this deck, so you can pretty much control the battlefield. I put these in here all because my roommate, he built a deck around Liliana Vess. Her 3rd ability allows you to pretty much recall everything from every graveyard under your control. I threw this in there just to stop that. And yeah, there's 3 of them. It's 1 cost. It is the Silent Gravestone. Cards in graveyards can't be targets of spells or abilities. That kind of stops him from doing any of that stuff. He don't like that card. We play occasionally, and he don't like that card. Again, 1 mana cost, great effect. It'll stop people from targeting the graveyard at least. It stops you, but it also stops them. Excuse me. Then I have some boosting cards. It's instants. It's a 2 mana cost, 1 whatever mana, 1 colorless. There are some cards in this deck that deal with basically colorless only. Target creatures get a +3, -3 until end of turn. So you get enough of these attached, and yeah, it's gonna sting. But I got 4 of them. They are hollows. Yeah, the foils, I love them. They're really pretty. I don't have too many foils in this deck. Couldn't find too many of them, or the ones I did find were just very expensive. And then the last ones I have here are the Manifold Key. Hey, it is a foil. It's really pretty. The Manifold Key it's a 1 mana cost. For 1 mana and you tap it, you can untap another target artifact. So if you're using the Quicksilver Amulet, this in combination with Quicksilver Amulet works great. Especially if you have all 3 of these out. You can bring, as long as you have the mana on the field, which in this case should not be a problem. As long as you have the mana on the field, you'll be able to bring out whatever you want from your hand, especially if your hand is littered with huge creatures. So that works out good in combination. The Manifold Key and the Amulet. That's pretty much all the spells I have here. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I have 22 spells here. Not too bad. That's actually a pretty decent amount considering it is an 80 card deck. Now on to the creatures. These are the I've set them up into non-Eldrazi and Eldrazi. There are some nons. And 3 of which are probably going to stay in here for like ever. I won't remove them unless I find something better. I have 3 Ginger Brutes. They have haste. They cost 1 mana to bring out, and they're a 1/1 attacker. You can attack right off the rip if you get them in your first hand. Now for 1 mana, he can't be blocked, which comes in handy with, say, these. Where are they? Them right there. If you have a couple of them attached to them, and you tap 1 mana, that's a lot of attack coming at you. Say for argument's sake, you have all 4 in your hand, 3, 6, 9, 12, plus 1. That's a 13 attack without being blocked. That's going to sting. Good combination to have with them. Love them cards. One of them is a foil. Down right there, you can see it. Really pretty. I like that one. He's one of my favorites. He will always be in this deck. These are pretty expendable if I can find some replacements. You got the Filigree Familiar. So just that lighting a little bit. You got the Filigree Familiar. He is a 3 mana cost. He's a 2/2 attack and defense. He's an artifact creature, a fox. When he enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. When he dies, you draw a card. Pretty simple effect to have. Really good effect. And the last one we have that's a non-Eldrazi is the Watchers of the Dead. They're a 2/2 attacker. 2 mana cost, and exile this, and each opponent chooses 2 cards in his or her graveyard and exiles the rest. Again, it's really good to have that under Liliana Vess. A way to stop your opponent from getting out most of their creatures that you killed, especially if you always dusted them. Okay, now we have the Eldrazi's. I have a lot of them. Again, I think that's why I call it my Eldrazi deck. Not to mention that. Anyway, we have... I'm going to go from order of mana cost. We have X mana cost. They are the endless one. And I love the saying at the bottom of it. It embodies all possible meanings of the word infinite. Endless one enters the battlefield with X. +1/+1 counters on it. So, as many as you sacrifice X for, like if you tap 10 lands, he's a 10/10. He stays that, and if you bring another one out and you have 12, that's a 12/12, that's a 13/13. So depending on how many lands you have when you bring them out, or however many you wish you want to tap. Doesn't have haste or trample or nothing like that, but he is a really, really good equalizer. Now for 3 mana cost, we have the Matter Reshaper. Matter Reshaper, his effect is kind of he costs 2 of whatever mana, 1 colorless. When Matter Reshaper dies, reveal the top card of your library. You may put that card into the battlefield if it is a permanent with card with a converted mana cost of 3 or less. Otherwise, put that card in your hand. It's a good way to get cards, good way to draw a card. Also, good way to get a creature like him on the field. But that's if the other one is on the top of your deck. He's a good one. It's a 3/2 attack defense. Pretty decent converted mana cost for that. Then we have for the 4 mana cost, we have the Thought-Knot Seer. Thought-Knot Seer. I played my roommates. One of my roommates last night. He did not like this card at all when I brought it out. I had the Eye of Ugin, so it cost me 2 to cast because creature spells are spells, and this is an Eldrazi creature spell. Excuse me. I got him with that technicality. But when he enters the battlefield, the target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a card, a permanent, a non-land permanent card they control, and exile it. I exiled his big cards all the time. He hated it. I might replace a couple more of them. Like I might replace this one here with that, another one of them. It's a possibility. Now I have something kind of like the Endless Ones. They're called Walkers of the Waste. And they are foil. Both of them. Very beautiful. They're 5 mana cost. It's a 4/4 attack and defense. But he does come now with trample. Sounds like one of those Futurama commercials there. Now with flavor. But he comes now with trample. Walkers of the Waste gets 1/1 for each land you control. Name wastes. Well, I have 29 of them, so there's a good chance he's going to get a +1/+1 each of them. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe they go up if you put another land out. So if you have 5 out and he's a 9/9, you put 1 more out, he's a 10/10. I believe it is. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments. Let me know. Now we're going to get another one, which I forgot I had in here. I'm going to actually probably put a couple more of these in here, probably put 2 more. Reality Smasher. These come with a counter spell already built in. It's for 5 mana cost. He's a 5/5. He has trample and haste. Whenever Reality Smasher becomes the target of a spell or opponent controls, counter that spell unless its controller discards a card. Comes with his own counter spell. I love that little feature. I mean, it's a good way to keep him out, especially trample and haste. They're going to want to get rid of that one quick. Then we have the Endbringer. He is 6 mana cost. He's a 5/5. And yes, they are foiled. Both. Well, it's hard to see in these cases. Should try to angle them right. I do have a light over here. Untap Endbringer during each other player's untap step. Endbringer deals 1 damage to target creature or player. 1 mana cost and tap. They can't block. 2 mana. You draw a card. So if you tap 1 colorless mana, which again is very hard not to, the target creature cannot attack or block this turn. That's pretty nice to have. Then you get Conduit of Ruin. 6 mana cost. Conduit of Ruin's a 5/5. Whenever you cast Conduit of Ruin, you may search your library for a colorless creature card with a converted mana cost of 7 or greater. Reveal it, shuffle your library, put that card on top. And when he's out, the first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less. Again, there's the way of getting out creatures quicker, because if you have both of these out, that's 4 less it costs to cast them. So if you have a 4 mana cost, that's practically free. Just put them on your hand. I have another one. These are some of the one-off ones I have, because they're so powerful and cost so much to bring them out. For 6, I have a Observation Soar. It's a little different from what I have. It's a little darker, if you ask me. It's really hard to see the foiling of it, but let me pull it out and I can show you. Let me angle that light a little better. There it is. It is a foil. It's weirdly foiled. I like it though. It's a little darker than the normal cards I have. When you cast Observation Soar, target opponent exiles the top 4 cards of his or her library. Then you may put any number of land cards the player owns from exile on your side of the field. That could be really devastating to an opponent. Since these are colorless creatures, they can work with any color, except if it actually does say the diamond that's on those lands only. Like this creature here, the Cultist Pathfinder. It has the diamond right there for colorless. Target creature can't block this creature on this turn. So if he only has 1 creature out and you're going to hit, and it's a big creature, you tap it, say you can't block me, you get a nice 5/5 attack. The next one I have is the Omug's Crusher. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. It's an 8 cost for an 8/8. This is one of the first cards I have that have Annihilator in it. He is from one of the original sets of Rise of the Eldrazi. Annihilator 2. Now the thing about the Annihilator, it has Annihilator plus a number. Annihilator is the ability where this creature attacks, the defending player sacrifices permanents. Now the 2 is how many they're going to sacrifice. He's an Annihilator 2, so he has to sacrifice 2 permanents on his battlefield. And he has to attack every turn he is able to. Really good one to have. That's a good equalizer. No one's going to like that Annihilator, especially if you bring it back. The Eldrazi Devastator. He's an 8/9, 8 cost. He has Trample. That's pretty much the only special ability about him. He's Trample. And I have 2 more cards. This one is an 11 cost. It is the Pathfinder of Omug. He has Annihilator 3, which he sacrifices 3, but he also has a really, really upgraded form of Menace. He can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. And he's a 9/9. Pretty hard to block, I think. Especially when you just destroy 3 of them. Well, sorry, sacrifice. And for the final one we have of the creature cards, this is my big boy. I just got this from Frontline Games. It was cheaper than on Amazon. I'm not really going to say how much I paid for it. If you want, just go look it up. It's on frontlinegames.net. You got Emrakul of the Aeon's Torn. This one here is, in my culture, called a dick move. He can't be countered, so you cannot use a counter spell on him. Whenever you cast him, you take an extra turn after this one. flying and protection from colored spells, and he has Annihilator 6. This is a bad boy to have. When he is put into the graveyard from anywhere, the owner shuffles his or her graveyard into their library. He pretty much has a recycle ability to him. So pretty much, if that's your deck, that's your library, he's killed in any way, put him there. Now all this goes back into here. I like that ability. Those are the creatures I have in here. There's a lot of creatures, but they all work together, especially with some of the abilities that they have. The Conduit of Ruin is one of them. The Eye of Ugin's another. And of course, there's one more. I got 2 Planeswalkers in this deck. They're here for my purpose only, is for their static ability. You got Karn, the Great Creator. He's a 4-cost. He's a legendary Planeswalker. You can only have one legendary Planeswalker on the field of the same name. Well, I got 2 legendaries, but they're not the same. His static ability is activated abilities of target artifacts your opponent's controlled can't be activated. That stops all their artifacts. And this one, Ugin the Ineffable. His, for a drop of 6, colorless spells cost 2 less. So if you have this, and him on the field, any Eldrazi in this whole lineup here costs 2, 4, 6, 8 less. So if you didn't have the amulet to bring this out, he would cost 7 mana to drop that big boy instead of 15. He'd be less as well. But anyway, that's my Eldrazi deck, my version of it. I don't know if there is a specific version, but for 30 minutes it took to show off all these cards. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to comment, and if I got anything wrong, please let me know. I really would love to know if there's any different rulings or anything like that, because that's what I've looked up. I couldn't find anything. And that's what I'm going at the time of this video. So again, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, comment. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm actually pretty active with you guys. As always, thanks for the view. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and again, be safe.